They took the true Earthers over there.
I'm here.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Nathan, welcome. Yeah, welcome, man. Look, we'll make sure no one. Make sure no one swears. So it's all good.
Oh, fantastic! I've got. I don't know why that was giving me so much trouble this morning. I was working fine yesterday and not today. But yeah, well, okay. So I told you my position on it. I guess to be an honest man, I will tell you that I came to believe in a flat Earth, and then I hopefully that doesn't lose me any credit with people who really just go crazy when they hear that. I mean, we
do not care.
Right. Well, no, I guess you guys wouldn't. I just but I'll tell you, because I saw. So what happened was, yesterday I was talking to the folks over and learning. I was mostly listening to them, and then they got real, I would say, uncharitable with a man just because he was flat Earth, and they knew it before he came in there, so there was some kind of history. But I said to myself, well, that's not the right way. I mean, it's not even like a thing necessary for salvation. It's worth arguing about because it's kind of interesting. I think it lends itself to a lot of holy meditation.
Can I say something about that real quick, Nathaniel? Yeah. So I have a different take on that because you remember if you study the Bible a little bit, and I won't get too far into this because it's a bit on biblical topic, but since you mentioned that, do you think that a lie is what separates us from the Creator? Hello? Did I lose everyone? What's going on?
No, I hear you.
We can hear you.
I can hear you now. Do you think? What was the question?
Do you think a lie separates us from the Creator?
Do I think a lie separates us from the Creator?
Yes.
Well,
it's binary. Yes or no?
Well, yes, it does, but
Okay.
Everyone believes in lies to a certain extent.
Yeah, but there's no clause here. There's not a clause. There's not an addendum. It's a binary. It's binary. So
yeah, that makes it easy. I'll try to just give you yes or no.
Well, it doesn't make it easy. It's what God doesn't like liars. Yeah, says so in the Word. All right. So if we
think an untruth is not the same thing as a lie. I'll say that.
Let's not try to make it a little softer. God is very clear, right? He's very clear.
Well, NASA means lie. I mean, NASA is
Yeah,
lying.
I know that, but that's not the point. What I am trying to drive home is that a lie separates us from the Creator. Now, let's look at it in a perspective. If the Earth is not a globe, is that a lie?
If the Earth is not a globe, is that a lie? Depends on who's saying it.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I think we have a different definition of lie.
Well, let's put it this way. The people that don't know it's a lie will still propagate it as a truth, but they don't understand it's a lie. But it will still be a lie. Let's look. I'll give you another way, right?
Okay.
I'll give you another way.
Sure.
If creation itself is displaying what it is, and we're saying no, creation is not what we see, it's something else. So are we now saying that what God created is not what He created? So we're saying essentially, okay, I see all of creation. I'm looking at it right now, but that's not what the globe is not what I see. So therefore, it's not what I'm saying God made. So I'm saying, if I was to believe the Earth as a globe, that the Earth is a globe, but I cannot see it. So I don't see that in God's creation. However, I am saying that it is because I believe it. So we're mocking the creation that He made. Now I'm giving you this different perspective because maybe you've never heard it this way. But if you were to look at the Earth being a globe, it's fantasy. And God's creation has always been demonstrating itself to us as something very logical, consistent. It's very common sense. Like there's no need to think of it any other way than it's perceived to be. So if that's true, And other people are saying that creation is something else, right? Something else. Then that means that whatever it is, whoever says creation is something other than we perceive it, that's a lie. I don't care who says it. You can tell the person that's not true. Creation is not this. It's what I perceive it, right? So when people challenge you, you can say, no, this is God's creation right here. I walk outside and I look at all of God's creation. Now, if you say that's not what it looks like and it's something else, that's a lie. Yes or no?
You said a lot. I think.
Well, it's just to demonstrate that everything that we
can't say yes or no to that.
You should. You really should. You know, honesty is another characteristic of somebody who follows after after God. You got to be honest, right? Okay, so if you're honest, right?
Well, I want my yes to be yes and my no to be no.
Creation, yeah, but think about it.
Too many things for me to say yes to all of them.
Let me condense it. If all of creation is demonstrating itself to us as not globe, and you say Earth globe, that's a lie.
Yeah. If all creation was demonstrating us to not be in globe, yes, you're correct. If that one first one's true, I do think.
My point is.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
My point is that we're going to come down to where you said this has nothing to do with God, nothing whatsoever. Separate from God, flat Earth and globe Earth discussions can be had. But God is not involved in this. So it's nothing to do with anything that you think God would have. God doesn't care if the earth is a globe or flat. You still go to heaven. It's okay. The lie is okay because it has nothing to do with salvation, because we're not talking about Jesus. We're talking about flat earth and globe earth. But when I just demonstrated at the very beginning. Yeah, now you're getting it, right? So the very beginning, we talked about what separates us from God is a lie. And now you say there's little, nuances to lies, little white lies, all right. Or perhaps maybe, a discussion about what God, you should put this under a microscope, right? Because if you were the creator, and somebody deceived humanity with this thing that's not true of his creation,
right?
Wouldn't that be a blatant disregard to what he made? And wouldn't that be so super offensive? I think it would.
Yeah. Well, the people, so people who are portraying particularly cosmology the way that they do deceive many other people. So the people who do lie on purpose certainly will answer God for that, and their salvation would be questionable.
But not only that. Those people who believe the lie. There's the deceivers, and then there's the believers.
Yeah, it makes salvation harder for them, I would say.
Well, think about it. It's not just harder. It makes it to be where you say, okay, I take man's word over God's word. I'd rather choose man and their intellect and their knowledge and their authority over God. Makes it very clear where you stand.
Okay, I'll wait for you to ask a question. Okay.
Well, no, it's basically rhetorical, because you need to realize that when this conversation comes up, when it does pop up, and you're like, well, flat Earth and globe Earth really has nothing to do with God. Nothing was. We can have all the conversations about this, and God is not concerned. He's over there
no. I didn't say
Nathaniel,
that.
You're still coming to heaven. Don't worry about flat Earth and globe Earth discussion. That's nothing. It's pish posh.
Well, I'm obviously worried about it. Here I am. I don't do anything that's not.
Well,
that I don't
and that's all I'm saying.
Sincerely think is about.
I guess I'm making a case. I guess what I'm saying is I'm making a case for that. If God's creation is what we're saying it's not, isn't that a mockery of his creation? I just think about it. There's a lot of people like, no. It's fine. If somebody's a globe earther, to heaven they go. Like, what I'm saying is, isn't what a lie is separates us? Anyway, something to think about. But I'm going to leave it there because I got to get going.
Liar.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right. I'll talk to you later. It was fun listening to you.
Anyway.
Is that all I should do at the moment, or is there anybody? Am I still here?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
you're
other
here.
people in here. I just
have
wanted to make that point. That's all.
No, it's a wonderful point. I have a hard time adjusting to different social situations. Sometimes people want you to like explain yourself, and then sometimes people want to explain themselves. And it's tough. There's so many people. There's so little time, and I'm very impatient. I like to just shout people down, and I'm working on that.
So what do you want from this room? What are you looking for?
So from this room, well, I actually just want to ingratiate myself with you guys. I want to have a good reputation with you guys. I'd like to be known as somebody who is reasonable and not at all difficult and just wants to, work together with everybody against the most destructive lies that affect especially America. But America has an empire over just about the whole world, so really the world when you think about it. The people who aren't in the empire are still definitely affected because of the size of it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say, like, hey, if you really don't love America and you don't love the space program, why don't you just leave? I'm like, I would, but I'd be subject to Americans' foreign policy if I left.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, it's also really hard to leave. I mean, I've got children. I've got a wife. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to travel overseas, but they do all kinds of crazy things to you. You have to consent to things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not really gay if it's TSA.
Well, it's like you was saying, is a lie going to separate us? It's like, I don't know. St. Charles, I think it's Lubanga, he was martyred, and I've heard two different stories, but one of them is that he was sodomized to death. So he's a holy martyr, though. He is. Pray for us. Sorry to throw that out there if you find that disturbing.
Yeah, I don't know the story there.
He was a, I think, like a tutor or some kind of educated man under an African king, and the gospel came, right, and then they started saying that you can't, you have to obey Leviticus to a certain extent, right? You can't lay with men as in other men. And this king had a harem of boys, and this tutor was teaching those boys teaching them the gospel, and then because of the rise of the gospel there, the king saw that he was going to lose his particular pleasures and killed him. I read it. There was a different story I read that was more where it said he was just beaten to death with clubs or something like that. Holy man, Answer, is that enough for you?
Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah, I got the gist of it.
I think that personally, I think when I say it's not necessary for salvation, I think that there's like a list of priorities of things that are really, really important to do for our neighbors. And there are so many lies out there. But I think that if people didn't have to like slave away at a job, come home and have no money, be poor, barely have time for their children, have time to talk to their wife, they get divorced because of it, and their children get into degeneracy because of it. I think if that problem was solved, then everybody would have a lot more time to look into like cosmology and geography and things like that, which would be good for us. I just think so many people don't have time for it. So, like me, I've got to go and try to like build publishing and media company while like watching children, which is challenging. So, but is there anything I can do for you guys? Anything I can help you guys with? I'm a fan. I mean, I'd much rather people believe that the earth is flat the way I did than believe NASA tells the truth. Much rather. And my own cosmology and geography is a little bit more, it's probably closer to a flat earth than the standard one. I see somebody's asked me if I'm Roman Catholic, but I hear silence, which makes me think I've lost connection again somehow. I am Roman Catholic.
No, I hear you.
Okay, good. I am Roman Catholic.
I'm curious.
Yes.
What do you think about the Catholic? I mean, I've talked to a priest. I did this years ago when I was.
Sure.
They really love the heliocentric model, and that they think they invented it. You're like, if you go talk to, I talked to one of them straight up got a chance to talk one-on-one, and the other one I just asked to give me a pitch for why I should be a Catholic. The one I talked to one-on-one went into full details about how the Catholic Church has always been, involved with science and math, has been a cutting edge of human and societal evolution. We'd be in the Stone Age without religious beliefs. They take credit for the Age of Enlightenment. They take credit for the heliocentric.
That's funny.
All of it.
Okay.
Like all of it. Okay.
Well,
and then when I asked the priest, like, hey, can you give me a reason to be Catholic? In a gist, he just basically said, we have the perfect worldview that connects mind, body, and soul into a full to be the best person you can be. And it kind of went on to about the best and the brightest people are Catholics and all this stuff.
Right. Hey, where's your sister? Why is she gone? Sorry. Okay. Sorry, one of my children disappeared.
Okay.
Let me tell you this. Okay. So I agree with the idea. Okay, so I agree with the fact that Catholics have the perfect model. But the problem is so many people are Catholics. No, stay there. Stay there. I just have to check on her. Go back, please. Come on. Oh, man. There's so many people that are Catholic that you have to understand, like the Catholic Church in one explanation or one understanding founded the Lutherans. You know what I mean? Because Martin Luther was a Catholic priest. So to say the Catholics believe this or the Catholics believe that, well, I don't know, some of them. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So you run into a lot of Catholics, Catholic priests, everybody, who are wrong. They're just wrong. And that's, it's the largest church. It's the true church. And so that's how it goes. And, and it's hard to even know if I'm right about things. I'll have to come back later because chaos is broken out. But God bless you all. I do hope to come back later. And feel free to catch up with me or anything like that. If you go to Substack, I love talking to folks. If you go to, in fact, I'd interview a flat earther. Okay, the baby's still here. Good. Which is better because I can kind of arrange it around the children's routine. But you can find me on Substack, Taurus Necros. And I might be able to come back in as long as I'm not annoying you guys too much.
No, you're good, dude. Being annoying is not a problem. I like to. I don't like to talk about it, but when I first talked to flat earthers, I was pretty annoying. It's one of the things I look back at that. Hey, kind of shameful. I should have been more open and more listening.
Well, what I do, yes, I agree with you, sir. I mean, that's the biggest problem. It's just one of those things that people reject out of hand. And it's like, well, the thing is that the world is a big place, and it includes the heavens and the earth. And nobody can picture that in their mind accurately. We don't have the mind to do it. So it's like, what in the world? Who do you think you are? You're not God. You just don't know. Now, you guys are good in that you know that people are lying about it. And it's the people who say they know. I even had an atheist who was talking to me about this because I don't believe in space. So I don't believe in an empty vacuum. And I proved this to him with his own logic, I think. Because I said to him, he kind of said I was stupid, but I think he agreed. He did agree with me. So I said to him, okay, so space, right, is an empty vacuum. Well, I think it's full of light. I think it's full of objects of a certain type. I think it's also full of life. Do you disagree? And he said, no, it's probably got all those things. I said, well, there you go. So how come the pictures are black, empty, and barren? If we both agree on light, full, and life. Because my worldview would say, I don't know, and then I'll get going. My worldview would say that the objects in there are heavenly objects. Everyone kind of agrees with that. The sun, many other objects. That don't hurt him. Come on. The life in there would be probably angelic life, possibly demonic life, and the light is God's light, or maybe the light from like the imperial heaven. So it only appears dark under like this fallacious, well, I mean, I don't know, you guys would call it fallacious, the fallacious model of space where there's a vacuum that doesn't reflect the light. But I actually think that the day sky is more of an accurate thing to look at than the night sky. That's my personal opinion. And a lot of people don't agree with me on that. But I know like one of the NASA guys, when he came back from the moon, said that. And then everyone like corrected him. It's like, no, it's dark. Remember? It's dark and pointless and empty and there's nothing there. Give up all hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I sent you a friend request. Like, I can share some more information with you and stuff.
Sweet. God bless you. Let me ditch and try to figure out these children. All right. I really enjoyed talking to you, man. Thank you. By the way, God bless you for keeping language under control. I don't want you to feel bad for that. It's not. I think vulgarity is fine. It's like a mark of sincerity. I'm just trying to keep some of it.
I tried to work on it. I don't like how much I swear, and I appreciate when people let me know. I do curse a lot, and a lot more than I like to be zero. I would like to get to a point where I never curse.
It's more complex than people think it is. You know, a Christian man will use a blasphemy. They'll say, "Oh my God," and they won't say, "I love you" or some prayer. And so it'll be a Lord's name in vain, you know. But then they'll like shudder at the F word, you know. Now there's a certain logic to that, because if I have children and they hear somebody say, "Oh my God," they hear that all the time in the form of a prayer. So they're not learning anything new. Whereas some of these Viking words they've never heard before, and I just don't want them to, because it's not very useful to them. Same reason I don't want them really to hear Chinese words, because they're not talking to Chinamen. So. All right. And I'm fine with the Chinese. All right. Well, God bless you. Thank you for the friend request. And,
take care. Talk to you next time.
Like I said, I'm on Substack. You guys keep up the good work. I might try to come back in here once I figure things out around here. Bye.
I know that trust and integrity are important, which is why I prefer to talk to you individually, and I'm happy to do that if you have the time to do that. But nobody has time and nobody has money because of usury, which is why I'm fighting usury with all my heart, with everybody I can find. And if you want to support me with your time, if you have any extra, please contact me individually. If you have to send me money to support me, that's fine. We'll find the least usurious way as possible, and you'll see a link. There are 3 ways that we can do this, or there are 3 ways that I'm working on right now. There's one bottom-up approach. I'm talking quickly for the people who don't have time. And that involves creating insular economies, which is what you will find out when you contact me individually with your extra time. That's the most important. I'm doing that locally, and I'm doing that electronically, which is where you come in. The other 2 are top-down. So you can find a user, you can cause him to repent, you can tell him about Jesus Christ, and then he should fix everything. And so we won't suffer as much. Or you can pass Jubilee laws, which you don't need to find the user or do that. It makes usury illegal. It benefits everybody who is struggling, and it will punish users or anybody who commits usury. So, which is not the people you think. Nobody knows who they are. So don't worry about you being affected by that. But I'm doing the first one, I'm researching the other 2, and I'm glad to hear your thoughts.